Well, Michelle Mone, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here. And most of us ladies will know Michelle. You know, you are the creator of Ultimo.
That's right,
You
yeah.
design a luxury lingerie brand, and it is fantastic stuff, I have to say, use it myself.
Thank you. And now U-Tan and U-Scalp Ultimo Beauty, so yeah, we've got that too.
There's actually a lot to Ultimo, isn't there? Even gowns and everything now. I mean, how fabulous
everything.
is that?
And you know, MGM International owns 9 brands, so we've not just got Ultimo, we've got Bra Queen Michelle at Tesco, and we've got Dore and Watt, Debenhams. We've got many brands that I started every single one of them. Yeah.
You know, that must actually be a real great moment to see each one evolve and go through a process, isn't it?
Yeah, but you know, they all have their trials and tribulations. It's never easy, and don't think that, you know, I've made it overnight. It's not the case. It's constant working hard, and I would say at this period in my life at the moment is probably the hardest. Yeah.
I think that's what's amazing about you, sort of, you know, going back to your roots.
Mm-hmm.
Being a teenager, Michelle, you know, you didn't find it easy, did you? You didn't have an easy life.
No, well, I've just been told that I probably grew up in an area like Grimsby, very working class and quite deprived as well. But, you know, I always say to people that it doesn't matter where you're from. If you're from, you know, the hardest place in the UK or the best place in the UK, it doesn't matter if you've got a degree or you've managed, you know, to not have nothing. I left school at 15. Or if you've got money or you don't have money, I think that as long as you have a passion, a determination and a can-do attitude, that you can almost achieve anything. We all come up against trials and tribulations every single day of our lives, and oh my God, have I had a bumper of a day today.
I think it's that steely determination in you, isn't it? You've really got, you know, you will succeed, and that's the end of it.
And do you know what? You've got to do whatever needs done. My case behind you is packed with my clothes for Sri Lanka. I'm leaving in the morning for Sri Lanka. Bikini, dresses, ball gown, lot. And I've had to cancel it just like half an hour ago. And it's 5:15 the night before. And I think that I don't like doing that, but in business you have to do what comes first.
Is it that sort of niche of being able to, and that passion of being able to, you know, be flexible and adaptable and...
Take risks, yeah. I mean, at the moment I'm in the proceeds of buying out my husband out the business after he ran off with my designer, which is a bit unfortunate. So at the moment that is primarily my focus, is to get shot of him.
And it must be stressful as well. You know, we all have those ups and downs in business, but it's being able to think, do you know what?
Yeah, it is, and you know, you think that you've come to a deal yesterday, and then you have a few more issues, but I suppose that it's really, really easy to give up. And on the way down in the 5.5 hours in that train to come here, I kind of thought, I can't take much more of it. You know, I'm just going to give up. And I go, what are you talking about? Don't be so stupid. You know, you can't do it.
That is what's great about you, and I think that's why you've probably won numerous accolades.
Yeah.
And you've also, you know, been given a role with the Prince's Trust for the young. I mean, that's fantastic, but what does that involve for you?
Well, the Prince's Trust helped me start my business about 15 years ago when I went to them, and I had no funding, I had no business idea whatsoever. And they helped me, they gave me a mentor, they taught me how to do my tax and my VAT, and gave me a soft loan of £5,000. And that really started me off. And I think that it's such an incredible organisation, not just for helping, you know, people start their businesses, but the homeless and drug abuse and all sorts of things. So when Prince Charles asked me to join the board, I was like delighted, of course. So that's been 12 years now. And I just love helping as many people as I can. I mean, there's a good friend of mine, Sir Tom Hunter, and he always says to me, listen, hen, you should do 3 things in life. Work the hardest you can work, and play the hardest you can play, and give something back. And I think that successful people who don't give something back, well, they don't deserve to be successful. So, yeah, I try and do that as well as everything else.
Do you think as well...
4 hours sleep a night and OCD.
Now that's like Margaret Thatcher. That was 4 hours a night.
Well, I had 3.5 last night, so she probably got more than me, to be honest. But.
You mentioned there about the Prince's Trust, but do you think as well organisations like that, as well as like business centres that do things like E-Factor, are becoming to be a bit more important than the old-fashioned bank manager who used to be able to help
Yeah,
you, give
I mean,
you business advice.
I'm not saying the money's the easy part, of course. Every piece of the jigsaw has to be put together to make the big picture. But certainly, if I was to be given the money, I wouldn't have known how to do my books and my invoices. And so the two actually do come together. You need both. And I do think if I was to choose one, well, how can you choose without the other? I know that, but I would definitely choose the mentoring factor, because it's all right handing out money, but how long is it going to last? Whereas I was taken through the process of, when you get to this turnover, you've got to do this, and all the stupid red tape, you know, procedures that you face.
They're things you're not sort of taught in school. You know, you have these careers lessons and all these other things. Do you think that this is where schools and colleges now can really, you know, up the game and have people like you to come in and talk to students? Yeah,
definitely, because, you know, it is a whole new world, being an entrepreneur. You've got to wear so many different hats, and but, you know, there's some universities now that do have courses and entrepreneurship courses and everything else, and I definitely advise that. I mean, if I could, I might even go and do it myself.
Yeah, why not?
I might even go for 3 years.
Let's do another one.
And do a course myself and see if I come out knowing anything more. But, you know, I do think it's all right having a degree and having the theory part, but you do also have to put it into practice. And I've got the practice part, I've not got the theory part.
You don't need it. You are one successful lady. But my final question, if you were Prime Minister and you got to change one thing in business, what would you do?
I would reduce the amount of red tape. It's far too complicated. You know, I mean, you've got to spend your time on your product or your service in order to set the business up. But the amount of time that you're taking away with stupid red tape, you know, procedures. And I know that we need some. I do know that we do need some, but far too much paperwork, far too complicated as well, especially for creative people. I'm a creative. You know, I've invented 13 inventions. I'm a designer, marketeer, and PR, and blah blah blah. And I am not that way inclined of sitting there reading stupid procedures. You know, it bores me to tears.
Yeah, so maybe less of the academic in schools and things like that, and more, do you think, of actually utilising creativity?
Yeah, I just think that the question was about the government. I just think that they need to just sit there and think, you know, what is actually needed and what is just a waste of time just to tick a few boxes and pushing paper around. You know, we don't need that. We just need to sell. I need to get on with business.
Well,
more time in that, less time in that.
Prime Minister, you take note if you're watching
this.
I've
told him. I've told him. I go for lunch with him quite a lot. There's, you know, maybe 10 or 12 of us, and I tell them all the time. But, you know,
he's not listening.
Well, it's just kind of his ministers and everything, you know. I don't know, sometimes they do create more procedures to justify their job.
I agree with that one.
I'm going to make them start a business. I'm going to take one of them and make them start a business, and then they'll see how annoying it is.
Yes, that's what to do. Right. Well, thank you so much, Michelle. I know you've got a very busy evening, but it's an absolute pleasure to have you.
For inviting me.
I'm sure your success for Ultima will probably be about another 20 or 30 businesses
well, let's
in
hope.
years' time.
Yeah, if I can get rid of them. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.